Now let's look at the position object. So in the manage data, you will come here and you will say position in the search and you will select any position. So let me select account executive here. For example, if you see this has got the different fields. So I will let me select my so this is a position which I have selected. So the different fields are populated on this screen, you can see. So let's look at the configure object definition as well, so that we can see how this position object is aligned. So I am in configure object definition, position. So you can see these are the top fields which is, and it has got a UI screen assigned to it. So we will see this UI screen in a while, but let us see the fields here. So you can see these are the MDF fields, then code, effective start date, change reason, job code, position title, job title, code, effect, start date, job code, position title, job title, and I think change reason is not visible. So these are some of the fields are not visible because it may not be used by the company. Position title, job title, company, business unit, division, department, location, cost center, pay range, pay grade, pay, job level, employee class, job level, and employee class. Till here it is a standard field used, and then there are some other fields as well like criticality, standard hours, comment, incumbent, description, vacant is used here. So vacant is like incumbent to be hired is a vacant field, and then position criticality is also used. These fields are mainly used by the succession data model. Then there is some other custom fields which are defined here, like custom field employment type. So this is an employment type field which is defined, which is a pick list value, and the pick list value is coming from employment type here from the pick list center. Then this is the employee type field, and this employee type field is pick list, and the value is coming from employee type field. So if you see here, this is the employment type and employee type, and then we have associations. So in association there is an association to right to return. I will come to that later, but let's talk about position matrix relationship, which is one to many. So this is a matrix relationship for position where you maintain the HR relationships. So if I just go and make correction, and I can see this, so mostly you will maintain the HR relationships here. So I can maintain the HR relationship position here. So I can say account executive here, for example, and I can save the record. Then similarly you have relationship with parent position, one-to-one relationship with parent position, and this is a when valid when association, and here you can see the parent position is visible here, and this is one to one. You can select only one, however you can select multiple multiple matrix relationships here. Then searchable field, position title and location name. So in the manage data, let us see the location for this object. So Atlanta underscore US. So if I want to search this, I will say Atlanta underscore USA. This will open all the positions which are belonging to Atlanta underscore USA. So you can select one of the position here. So this is how this search field works, and you can also search by position title. Then the security. So the security is maintained under miscellaneous permission for positions. And then there are some rules. So there is a on save rule for this. So if you see that on save rule is on the external code, and this is similar to the rule which we saw for the job classification. So position code generation rule, position code to be equal to format number, percentage %d, get next value, set position code external code. So get the next value of the of the sequence from this sequence. And let's see what this sequence is. So if I go to manage data again and I go to sequence, and this is the set position sequence external code, and if you see, it says that the start number is 301106 and the current number is 301107. So let's go here, cancel this, and let's create one position. And since the only the job position title is mandatory, so I am just giving a test title as of now just to check the code what it comes. So if you see, the code is coming 301107, which was defined here 301107. And if I refresh this now, it has changed to 1108 now. So this is how the position code will work. Now let's look at the configure object definition. So let's look at these some of the other things here. So let me check the so there is a rule for lower level job to position. So this is a rule written on the job classification object. So if it is a lower level job to position, then position title should be equal to the job title. Position employee class should be equal to job employee class. Position job level to be equal to position dot job code dot job level. Regular temporary for position to be equal to job regular temporary. Position pay grade should be equal to job pay grade, and the position title should be equal to the job title. This is a rule which is written here. So this is about the position object. Let us go and review the position management settings. So to view the position management settings, I will go to manage position management settings. And in here on the general tab, you will see different tabs are assigned here. General, hierarchy, adaptation, synchronization, UI, right to return, transition, integration and import. So on the general tab, you can see how the system should behave with respect to the position management. That is that this tab particularly regulates this behavior. So if you say use position type, so we saw that regular position, or whether it is a regular position or it is a no, it is not a regular position. If that you need to use that, then you can say we are not using it, so we will say no. Is this position external code auto generated? We saw that it is auto generated, so we will say yes here. To be hired status adaptation. Set to be hired if an incumbent is unassigned from a position. So when the incumbent is unassigned from the position, there are three options, which is say to set the to be hired status. Never, always, and only if FTE value is below the planned value. So this is the option which is used currently. Only when if current FTE value is below the planned value, then only you should set the to be hired status. Otherwise, not. You can also set it always, or you can set it never. Then reset to be hired status if incumbent is assigned to a position. If he is unassigned to a position or assigned to a position, in this case, this is it says that only if a planned FTE value is reached. So once the FTE value is reached, then the to be hired status should be reset. Then the next is saying set or reset to be hired status if the FTE is changed. So for example, if I go to manage data, I go to position and I select any position. For example, I am selecting this position. Okay, so current FTE value is 1 and to be hired status is as no. So what it is saying is if set or reset the to be hired status if the FTE is changed. So if I am changing it FTE here and I'm making it as 2 and I am saving this, I'm not saving anything else. So you can see I have changed the FTE and the to be hired has become as yes. So this is coming from here. Same set or reset the to be hired if the incumbent FTE is changed. So for example, the incumbent FTE is, so for example, if it is occupied by somebody and that person's FTE percentage changes, in that case also you can change the to be hired status automatically by the system. Then hierarchy adaptation. In the hierarchy adaptation, you can use the options on this tab to determine whether and how the changes to one hierarchy are reflected in the other hierarchy. So the leading hierarchy, most of the implementations which I have seen use the position hierarchy as a leading hierarchy and then reassign direct reports according to the position hierarchy on termination screen. So this option is so when you terminate an employee and who is a supervisor, in that case, how the direct reports should behave. In that case, should they be assigned to assigned according to the position hierarchy? Yes, and that is what is defined here. You can have yes optional and yes always. So this is yes optional. So this will give an option to select it, and you can say yes always as well. Then default the supervisor or position in higher MSS job information and history. So default the supervisor or position in higher MSS job information and history. So the supervisor of the position. So for example, if I go to record of JSEC and I go to employment section and I go to job information, the supervisor is defaulted automatically because this is coming from here. If you see this, if the position hierarchy is the leading hierarchy or if it is no leading hierarchy, the system defaults the supervisor when selecting a position. If the reporting hierarchy is the leading hierarchy, the system defaults the position when selecting the supervisor. Select yes to switch on the defaulting. Threshold for running adoption of reporting line or job relationship as a job. So this is set to 0 right now. You can set it to 1 2 3 days, whatever you want to. So there is an automated job which runs in order to correct the hierarchy. If there are any mismatches, that will that will be from here. If you set it as yes, so for example, this says choose yes if you want to system to automatically adapt the hierarchy using a daily job if they are not in sync. So this option can only be used if the position hierarchy is the leading hierarchy. So you can run this job and this job is in the provisioning and you can set this job to that job will take care of the uh, mismatches. And third tab synchronization. You can use this option on this tab to determine whether and how changes to attributes of the position or job info are reflected in other direction. So position synchronization, user decision if required. So whenever you are changing, we saw that whenever we are going through the view org chart. So for example, let me show you here. When I go to view org chart, and in view org chart I go to position org chart. So for example, Jessica Sitani, I am going in here. I am editing a record from 5 and I want to change this. I want to say change the employee class from active to say employee, and I want to save this record. When I save, it is asking me that whether it should synchronize to the incumbent or not. This setting is coming from here because it is saying user decision if required. So if I say yes, then only it will set it, otherwise no. So I do not want to save these changes, so just setting up as no. Then synchronize position matrix relationship to job relationship of incumbents. So if it says if position matrix relationship is defined here in the position or in the edit position, so for example here, then it should be synchronized to the matrix relationship of the in the job relationship portlet in the employee profile. Here is the job relationship portlet. It should be defined here. Then rule for synchronizing position to job information. So this is a synchronizing rule which is used. This is a propagation rule. We will touch this one in a minute. Same with the rule for synchronizing job information to position. So this is a rule for position to job information, and this is a rule from job information to position. We will see these rules in a while. And then there is a search for position in position reclassification. Yes, search for position in position transfer. Yes, if you are using this functionality, you can search it as yes, otherwise you can select it as no. Now let's look at these rules. Now it says rule for synchronizing position to job information. So let's open this one and let's check this rule, what it says. So it says if the job information position is not equals to null, means the position is having some value. In that case, job information location should be equal to job information position location. Same job information business unit to be equal to position business unit. Division to be equal to position division. Job information department is equal to position department, classification to be equal to position job code, job title to be equal to position job title, cost center to be equal to position cost center, job information pay grade to be equal to position dot pay grade, time zone to be equal to location time zone, employee class to be equal to position employee class, employment type to be equal to position employment type, and employee type to be equal to position employee type. So all these fields, when you are selecting a position on the job information, should be defaulted automatically by this rule. This is called a position to job propagation rule. And similarly, when you are making some changes on the job information directly, in that case, what all fields should be propagated to position. So if the position job code is not equal to null, then job title, job level, regular, temporary, employee class, and pay grade field should be equal to the position job code fields. So this is how this is defaulted for the job code. So for example, you are entering a job code in the job information portlet. So this all information will automatically be populated on the position once you enter the job code. So this all will be defaulted from the job code. Next is UI customization. So in this tab, you will determine how your UI behaves. So for example, rule for defining copy relevant position field. So you will see that add lower level position. So this is again a rule which is defined. So when you are creating a lower level positions, in then what all should be defaulted. So it is defined like new position company. It should be source position company, source position cost center, source position department. So whenever you define, so for example, when I go to org chart here and I say here add lower level position, so you can see most of the fields are automatically pre-populated. Why these are pre-populated? Because this is coming from this rule, add lower level position. Add lower level position, and this is coming from this rule. Okay. Then respect workflow at copy position in position organization chart. So we are not using any workflows for on position. So that is why it is no use. Company filter for position in MSS. Yes. Allow selection of position that have status to be hired in MSS. So if your position is in the status of to be hired is equal to yes in the position org chart. So if you see this position org chart for this one, it says the to be hired status as no, means this position should not be available for use in the job information. When you are making the changes to the job information portlet and you hit the search button for the job information, this position will not be available. If it is to be hired as is equal to yes, only then it will be available. Then display incumbent of parent position in higher MSS job information and history is yes. This we have seen. So if you go here and you go to second, I go to change job and comp information, change. So here you can select the incumbent of parent position and through which you can make the selection. This is what is driving from here. Show deactivate position employee in employee termination screen. So when you are terminating employee, the position should be deactivated automatically. Yes, that is you can choose to deactivate it or you can choose not to deactivate it. That option will be available upon termination screen, upon termination. So that is controlled through here. Right to return we are not covering because that is mostly related to global assignment and LOA. Then we will see transition period. So transition period, so many times it happens that uh, the employee is getting terminated after 3 months and one other employee is hired on the same position. So the position is over occupied. So this particular transition period will define for how long you can use the overstaffed position. So if you can say use transition period as yes, period as 3 months, 4 months, 5 months or 6 months, whatever you want to define, and unit as months. Integration. So integration with recruitment management. So position management is recruited with is having a tight integration with the recruitment management through creating the job requisition templates. So you can create the job requisition templates and assign different rules here. So that part is covered under here. I am not going into detail of that since it is out of scope. In the import, so when you are doing the import of different portlets like position and then job information, at that time how the system behaves, that is what is shown here. So position, so you should always keep these settings as yes. Adapt reporting hierarchy during position import, yes. Adapt hierarchy leave of absence record, yes. Adapt position assignment during job of information, yes. Adapt the position to be hired status at job information portlet, yes. Because this will validate the position assignment during the different imports. So this is how the position management settings work in. So now let's create one position. So I will create it from 01011900. Let me select my job code which I just created, and I think it was no talent manager. Hmm. Like select this one, retail services here, and I will say manager retail services, job title as manager retail services. I will select the company, it's 9999, business unit, so I will select corporate, division. Now I will select my business unit, so which is like best run USA. Division is like human resources. Department within human resources is payroll. Location is 9999 Atlanta, USA. Cost center Western USA. So you see this pay grade is auto populated. It is coming from the job code. So we will see that rule as well. Job code to position propagation. I will select FT is equal to 1. Type, we were discussing about position type here. So this is a regular position or partial position. So we can select regular position. To be hired as yes. Employee class as active. Employment type as employee. Salaried employee. Employee type as full-time. And I can select some parent position here. So let me select, this is under retail services. So I will save this. So this position is created now. Now let's look at this position under view org chart. View org chart. So when you come to view org chart, you can go to position org chart and you can see this position which is newly created, and you can see this is created under Laura Miller. Okay, so this is how you will create this position. With this we covered the job object, position object, and position management settings, propagation rules, etc.